Indonesian President Prabowo has arrived in the United States, starting his trip with a call to President-elect Donald Trump, congratulating him on his victory in elections last week.
Nice to talk to you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I would like to congratulate you on your election as President of the United States of America. I would like...
Thank you so much.
If possible, I would like to call...
Mr. Prabowo posting a video of his call on his social media channels. The leader telling Mr. Trump he is willing to fly to wherever he is to deliver personal congratulations. The pair could also be heard praising one another on their achievements as leaders. Mr. Prabowo will hold his first meeting with his U.S. counterpart, Joe Biden, later today. Our talks are likely to focus on regional geopolitics, food security, clean energy, and strengthening people-to-people ties. Mr. Prabowo's trip follows a recent state visit to China, during which he met President Xi Jinping and other leaders. Here, he emphasized that his country is non-aligned and is respectful of all world powers. And for more, Saiful Bahar Ismail joins us live from Jakarta. Saiful, what might we read into this phone call? And does it signal any change in relations between Indonesia and Trump in his second term?
Well, Wei Su, just based on that brief 3-minute phone call, we may be seeing warmer U.S.-Indonesia relations. The exchanges between Prabowo and Trump showed a cordial and friendly relationship. Prabowo showed a lot of respect for Trump, calling him sir multiple times. This could also be due to the fact that Prabowo is a former military man. Of course, both men already know each other. Trump and Prabowo have worked together before when Prabowo was a defense minister in 2019. There's already that relationship that they can build on. In 2020, then President Trump overturned a long-standing visa ban on Prabowo, who was once accused of rights abuses committed under the New Order regime. Since then, strategic relations with the U.S. have grown from strength to strength with the expansion of the annual Garuda Shield joint military exercise. So there is scope for U.S.-Indonesia ties to grow under Prabowo's new administration and Trump's incoming government. However, there are concerns that Trump's economic agenda may have an impact on the Indonesian economy. Trump has promised to increase import tariffs by 10 to 20%. A 10% tariff on Indonesian exports to the U.S. would be a big blow for manufactured products. Observers said Prabowo needs to ensure that Trump's universal tariffs will not harm Indonesia. And that's why that phone call to Trump is so important for Prabowo to secure that FaceTime with the incoming U.S. president.
All right, Saiful, that is the incoming leader. There is a leader right now, and Mr. Prabowo will be meeting him later today. Of course, that's a Washington time. We've outlined he's looking at food security, clean energy, regional geopolitics. If you could summarize for us, what would he be hoping to achieve from this visit, apart from these individual areas of achievement?
Well, Prabowo has been scheduled to meet President Joe Biden on Tuesday at the White House. A White House press statement confirmed the visit, saying the two leaders will celebrate the 75th anniversary of U.S.-Indonesian relations and explore ways to strengthen U.S.-Indonesian cooperation. Biden's meeting with Prabowo would address issues including food security, the green energy transition, democracy, and regional peace and stability. The outgoing Democratic president would also honor those affected by the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. Now, Prabowo's U.S. trip is likely to intentionally display his efforts to balance Indonesia's relationship with rival powers, Beijing and Washington, as he seeks to establish himself as an active player on the global stage and emphasize Indonesia's position of non-alignment. Now, before arriving in the U.S., Prabowo was in China and held high-level talks with President Xi Jinping and Chinese Premier Li Qiang on Monday. Prabowo also met with several U.S. company representatives in Washington, including from Freeport-McMoRan and energy company Chevron, and urged the companies to invest in Indonesia. Previously, U.S. businesses have said that they would like a continued emphasis on foreign investment, transparency, and and opening the market to greater participation by US companies. Now, US companies said they have had challenges in Indonesia in terms of regulatory transparency, and they would like to see a more systematic and a deeper engagement with the private sector. This makes Prabowo's visit important to set the tone for future bilateral business relationships.
Mereka sangat terlibat dalam perekonomian Indonesia, dalam pembangunan Indonesia. Sudah lama mereka di Indonesia dan mereka terus percaya dengan Indonesia, dengan ekonomi Indonesia, dan saya juga mendorong mereka untuk terus melakukan investasi, ikut serta dalam rencana pembangunan kita.
After the US visit, Prabowo will next be traveling to Peru to attend the Asia-Pacific Cooperation Forum and then to Brazil for the G20 summit. Before returning to Jakarta, Prabowo is also scheduled to meet with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer in London.
Thanks. That's Saiful Bahri Ismail there reporting from Jakarta.